Welcome back. Now, the Competition Commission is expected to announce a substantial reduction in the price of COVID-19 tests. It comes after an agreement was reached with 2 laboratories. The Commission received a complaint in October from the Council for Medical Schemes. It was dumbfounded as to why the price remained at 850 Rand despite cost reductions. And Heidi Giokos joins us now ahead of that official announcement later on today. Heidi, the Competition Commission making this announcement later on today, I think a lot of people will be very upset at how much they've been paying this whole time.
Definitely very upset. I mean, I've been upset that I've had to pay 850 Rand every single time you've been exposed to COVID, or you have symptoms, or you just want to test to make sure that you don't have COVID and you're just not asymptomatic. So this has been a long time coming, and I think South Africans will truly welcome this reduction in the cost of how much you're going to pay for your COVID test. We're not exactly sure how much it's going to be reduced by, but many are saying it could possibly be about 500 Rand that you will now be paying for your COVID test, but we'll just have to wait for the Competition Commission. But Maseko, I would say that they could reduce it a little bit more. I think 500 Rand is still quite a hefty price, considering how highly transmissible Omicron is, and many saying that it's a lot milder this time. You might just think you have flu, but you might actually be having COVID, and it's just best to test. And we know that the Competition Commission has been in conversation with Lancet Laboratories as well as AMPATH, who are the 2 main laboratories who do these COVID-19 tests. And it's so imperative for these tests to be reduced, the cost of these tests to be reduced, because you also have a situation. Just last week, we saw people taking to social media about how they've been going to other kind of laboratories or clinics where they have been testing for COVID-19, and they had to wait about 3 to 4 days to get their results. And sometimes they were told they were negative when in fact they tested later and they were actually positive. So it causes a major risk of getting tested at a place that's not registered, that's not reputable, but also it causes a risk of people not going to test and just saying, I'll just self-medicate because the cost is just way too high. So this is truly a welcomed intervention by the Competition Commission, but I would say it's a little late. It should have happened long ago. We're 2 years into this pandemic, and we've been paying 850 Rand for these tests for 2 years now.
I think at some point people were paying 2,500 in the beginning of this COVID-19, if I'm not mistaken, Heidi. But you also spoke to Lancet itself. What did they say?
Yes, so we spoke to Lancet last week, in fact, to get a sense of when and if they are going to consider reducing these prices. And we were told that it's important for people to understand how expensive this process is. It's interesting, though, because, for example, in Europe, a lot of the tests are for free. So the fact that South Africans have to cough out 850 Rand, we all look at the situation and go, but why does it have to be so expensive? But Lancet was saying the quality of the test is very important. And the point that I mentioned earlier on, where people don't get proper test results, or they go to a place that's not a reputable testing lab, this is the problem here. So we spoke to Lancet, and they were saying that they are looking at re-looking at the price of this, but of course people need to consider the quality of test that comes from testing at Lancet and the cost that you have to pay for this test. But let's listen to Lancet on that matter.
And most people know what the test is nowadays. It's a PCR test, which is a polymerase chain reaction test, which has a number of different steps, and they are quite expensive steps. So basically, you need to extract the viral genetic material out of the sample, and then you need to amplify that viral genetic material. As you are also very much aware that we had to ramp up our capacity to do that quite dramatically. So, from a machine point of view, from a human resources point of view, that had to be ramped up, I think almost in our lab alone, I think it's quadrupled since the beginning of the corona pandemic. And it had to be, because there was just absolutely no way that we could keep track of the tests or keep up with the testing requests and requirements. Other tests like antigen tests are cheaper tests, and they have come into play and are being used. But I think that we do need to be quite careful and to do quality tests. So the important thing is to get a quality test. We've all seen the reports about the people in the Dutch flight that tested negative when they actually boarded the flight, but tested positive when they got to their destination. Many reasons for that, but quality testing is also important.
All right, Heidi Giokos, let's leave it there for now. Of course, she'll be listening in on that briefing a little later on.